Bring you the details of the news now, courtesy Coca-Cola. First story, President Mahama says the electricity company of Ghana will remain 100% public-owned, contrary to speculations that it is being privatized.
You are speaking at the commission of $35 million Ghanaian-owned substation at the Tema industrial area.
Private sector participation in power distribution is not a new thing. Enclave Power is a private entity and has the concession to distribute power in the free zones enclave, and they've been doing this since 2009. Everywhere in the world, private sector participation in many areas hitherto monopolized by government is being encouraged. This is leading to increased investment from the financial sector and the capital markets, and is introducing efficiency into the operations in those sectors. Power can be no different. And therefore, when people try to misinform the nation and the public by saying that our carrying out the reform in terms of allowing private sector participation in concessioning the distribution of power, by that we are privatizing ECG, it's absolutely untrue. Government has no intention of privatizing ECG. ECG is still a 100% government-owned entity and will remain a 100% government-owned entity. But nothing in our regulations stops private sector participation in managing concessions to distribute power to customers and give them efficient service than we have had in the past. We're making progress in overcoming the power gap. Power is being fed, increasing power is being fed into the grid, and over the last few weeks, at least some 200 new megawatts have been fed into the system, and we will continue to increase the power that is being fed into the system until the gap is eliminated completely by, according to my power minister's promise, year's end, for which I have put his neck on the block.
The recent rains continue to expose the deplorable state of roads in the country.
But apart from the generally poorly constructed roads and those that have not really undergone any form of construction, there are some well-constructed ones that also become impassable when it rains. Derek Akolsam went on to the Kaswa-Malam Highway, where motorists suffer a similar fate because of the sighting of a quarry company close to the highway. He reports, though, that the quarry is no longer being operated, but it gives motorists a lot of headache each time it rains.
The rains are here, and anytime it rains, commuters on this part of Accra, Kaswa to be precise, have a big headache. They have to deal with this every day of their lives, especially when they are going to work in the morning. The sand comes from up there on the hill where people quarry stones and all that. And so when it rains, the water from the rocks gush out, and then they spread the sand onto this part of the road. The road is a two-lane road, but from what you see, it has become a one-lane road because of the sand that has actually eaten one part of the road. It is a big eyesore. It's a problem that the Ghana Highway authorities will have to deal with. But there's nobody to do that, and so people who live around here have actually taken it upon themselves to find a remedy to this problem. It is not a lasting solution, but they have to help to get things done. Let me talk to the guy who has been collecting the sand. Boss, good morning. What's your name?
Good morning. I am Levi Kwesi Nukunu.
And what do you usually do here?
Anytime it rains, the sand washes from the up to the down here. So we use our piloder to gather it and then collect it for the tipper trucks drivers. But of late, they say they don't like it unless maybe they find someone who is building and then is occupying it with filling. So as at now, no, when they came, they said they don't like it. It's too watered.
They say it's too porous?
Yes. So actually, that's why it's here. So
are you paid for doing this job?
No. Actually, we buy our fuel and then do it ourselves.
So how much does it cost you to do this every day?
Oh, sometimes we can buy fuel like 500 Ghana.
500 Ghana cedis just to do this job. Isn't that too much to be spending on something that you are not paid for?
Yeah, actually, it's because of our work. And sometimes they even reported us to the Dairy Graphic that we have been causing it, but it's not from our end here. It's the stone cracker, from the stone where they crack the stone. That's where it has been coming from.
But over the years, what has been the response of the drivers who use this road?
Oh, actually, even when we are doing the work, they sometimes insult us, but we don't talk because we know we are Ghanaians and we are doing it for the country.
Well, they've been reporting a Dairy Graphic. But talking about the graphic, we also have a story that's linked to the Ghanaian Times.
Yeah, it's not an exciting one though. Well, 2 journalists with the Ghanaian Times and the Ghana News Agency sustained serious injuries in an accident at the Bole Damongo Road Tuesday morning.
Well, the 2 journalists, Yakubu Abdul-Majid and Botokpo Albert, were part of a team of journalists following the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Mahama Yariga, on the tour of the district. A Ford bus in which they were traveling had its gearbox broken in the process of the journey, running into a bridge. The 2 currently are responding to treatment, though, at the Bole District Hospital.
Now, Deputy Lands and Natural Resources Minister Designate Kwabena Minta Kando is proposing the inclusion of a criteria for measuring competence of municipal, metropolitan and district chief executives, their plan of action to address challenges facing the environment, as well as their action plan to prevent illegal mining.
And as you all recall, His Excellency the President constituted a presidential task force to clamp down on those who are involved in the Galamsey. What is going on at the moment is that the ministry is constituting committees, mineral committees at the district level, so that they will get the local people involved in checking some of these things, and I'm all for it. Mr. Chairman, again, what probably if this committee clears me in, I'll also humbly suggest to my minister probably to push it at the cabinet level, is that I think that the MMDC should own this activity, so that if possible, Mr. Chairman, if possible, it could be one of the criteria for assessing our MMDCs. Because I say so, Mr. Speaker, because if you build all the schools, all the roads and all the schools and all the roads, schools and all the infrastructures, and then still you have your environment depleted, it's not worth it.
And the Deputy Minister Designate also outlined plans to tackle the increasing depletion of the forest cover when giving the nod.
Chairman, the rate at which the forest is getting depleted is quite alarming, and as part of His Excellency's transformational agenda, there's a policy to move from the consumptive approach to the non-consumptive approach, where the few that is left will be creating some eco-tourism parks, and then the already degraded portions, they will release the portions to individuals, especially the communities around the forest reserve, to plant the trees. So in that case, we'll be replenishing the forest, so we'll get our economic trees back, and then again, we'll be food sufficient. And so they will plant food, and then as a country, we'll get food. Finally, it will also create employment for the people within those areas.
Also appearing before the committee were the Deputy Works and Housing Minister Designate Yao Edusei and Ministry of Defense Kenneth Gilbert Ajay. And I tend to wonder if the things that these minister designates say appearing before the committee is more like, you know, chew and poor pass and forget, because we don't practically see the things that they outline there, do we?
Well, there was also a lot more drama during the appearance of Mr. Kando before the Appointments Committee, though. But let's look at the subject of human rights, and the subject that has been plaguing the minds of many people the last 24, if not 36 hours.
Well, Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister Nanoye Letha has condemned moves by Nigerian Islamist militant group Boko Haram to discourage the education of the girl child.
She says educating the girl child is crucial to the continent's development. He was speaking to Joy News at the vigil to commemorate the first anniversary of the disappearance of over 200 schoolgirls in Chibok in northern Nigeria.
Saratu Ayuba Naomi Adamu, Hawa Ishaya.
In a somber atmosphere, names of the over 200 schoolgirls abducted from the government girls' secondary school in Chibok, Nigeria, are read out at a vigil on the campus of the University of Ghana.
Aisha Tugrema, Hawa Nkeki.
The vigil, organized by the African Women's Development Fund and the Center for Gender Studies of the University of Ghana, was in solidarity with the larger campaign to rescue the abducted girls. Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister Nana Oyeletha said stifling the education of the girl child will affect the continent's development.
We recognize and acknowledge the importance of education and the value of education, and condemn Boko Haram for stifling and saying that education of girls is wrong. Education of girls is very right, and if we want to develop as Africa, we need to take education of girls very importantly. So that's why we stand with Nigeria today commemorating 1 year of the abduction and kidnapping of the girls, and saying that Ghana is with you, the government of Ghana is with you.
CEO of the African Women's Development Fund, Theo Soa, said the vigil is part of efforts to ensure the Nigerian government, as well as other governments within the sub-region, do not give up on the girls.
We haven't managed to bring them back, but if we stop pushing, you know that our governments will stop acting. Until we can make our governments take responsibility for all of their citizens, we cannot stop. We have a new government about to come into power in Nigeria. They will need to be pushed as well. They will need to see that if they take action and bring those girls back, the people of Nigeria, the people of West Africa, the people of Africa will applaud their courage and will applaud their conviction and will applaud the fact that they have taken action to protect the most vulnerable in our communities.
Deputy Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts Minister Jifa Gumashi also called for continued support for Nigeria as it tries to rescue the girls.
We should not just back off, we should not just forget them. We shouldn't leave it for Nigeria alone. I think the world needs to come up and put their shoulders to the wheel and support Nigeria. It's not just Nigeria. God knows, maybe there are other children from other countries who live in that community who are also a part of this group of children that have been abducted. So it really is in very bad taste that we should look on helplessly while children suffer.
The African Women's Development Fund, however, says it has made available grants to help parents of the abducted girls in northern Nigeria, and is also making arrangements to help with psychological counseling for the girls when rescued. Nia Krofi Smartabe, University of Ghana, Legon, Accra.
I was monitoring the BBC early this morning. I think the good news is that a certain journalist who has close links with Boko Haram says that the girls are safe. None of them, nobody is married off or anything. They're keeping them safe.
Yes, and we know that 1 year was marked. That was yesterday or Tuesday, and so the advocacy is still continuing elsewhere, not only in Nigeria, but other parts of the world.
We're all looking up to, if you like, General Buhari to bring back the girls now.
And the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Act, Jifa Gumashi, has called on Ghanaians to refrain from publishing disturbing pictures of the ordeal suffered by a Takrady-based radio presenter.
She made the plea in hopes of sparing the victim further distress.
Those of us who have information about the journalist who is alleged to have been raped, please, can you just stop? Please stop. Please stop passing the pictures around. Don't share this. This is not the kind of thing that you gloat over or you enjoy sharing. This is something that as soon as you receive, you must delete. Don't join the crowd. Please spare her this. She deserves some dignity.
Okay, so we know that this particular lady in Takrady suffered a few things, but here's the thing. If you've got the pictures, I know that people would say, oh, forward it to me. Some people say they have latest information. Can we all just simply stop and, you know, say a little prayer for her? We know that she's in the hospital now. Doctors say she's doing well. That's a good thing. Let's hope that she gives a lot more details so we can grab the bad people out of our society.
Okay, so that's it for the news we have for the morning.
All right, and it's brought to you by Coca-Cola. Stay with us. We'll come back and check out what's making headlines in the newspapers.
AM News was brought to you